Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Mai, and this week's video is part 2 to making a medieval castle. And if you haven't seen part 1 yet, I highly recommend that you go watch it. This part is going to have most of the landscaping as well as furnishing like the basement and the dungeon, which would include the alchemy lab, the servants' quarters, the like jail cells, I guess, as well, and the kitchen, that too. So yeah, I'm very excited to share this all with you. I'd also love to start off the video by thanking you all for all of the support that you've shown me on the last part. I really wasn't expecting it, but yeah, I'm just so grateful, and I appreciate every single one of you that has viewed it, that has liked it, and commented. You have made a small simmer very happy, and I've just loved reading all of the comments on that. So thank you from the very bottom of my heart. And we have started with making the fountain, which is just between those two big staircases. And I fussed so much with doing these like little plant areas on the corners because yeah, I just wanted to make it look nice, but it was hard to do with the way that the terrain is. So after a while, I kind of just gave up and I did the rest of it like in post-production. So it does not end up looking like that. And I also want to point out that most of the like landscaping and exterior is very symmetrical. So for some of the landscaping, I would kind of like in the video, I would just do one half and then I just did the other half kind of like again in post-production so that it's not just watching the same thing over and over again. Because yeah, there were a lot of parts of the landscaping that just got tedious. For example, this that we're about to do right now, I really wanted to put some planters like at the bottom of each stair set. So yeah, I had to flatten the terrain so that I could actually make it work because gosh, the terrain is so glitchy and annoying to use. Speaking of glitchy, this entire build just got glitchy because of the amount of items that I've used. So it might be a little bit hard to play in, but it is still really cool to look at, which I do recommend that you guys download this build, and that way you'll see the magnitude of it and all of the little details that I added. It was really hard to put everything in the video. Even like in the screenshots, it was really hard. So yeah, if you feel like it, definitely check it out on the gallery. It's under my name, maiplaysthesims. Really easy to find, and yeah, so that way you can really enjoy and take in the grandiosity of it. I'm not fully convinced that that's the word, but let's just say it is. And that way, if you download it, you can also check out all of the other details that I added kind of when I was like polishing the like everything that I did in the first part, because I also took some time to do that. I added, for example, like a chess table in the living room, and yeah, just other things that people have recommended to add. For example, my sister's a designer, so she like gave me some advice of things that were popular at the time that I should add. And also here you can see these horseshoe game pits or something. That was actually on YouTube, a comment. Redding173 commented that was a really good activity that kind of felt right for that time. And so I added that, and thank you so much because I think it looks so cool, and that little area that I made for it just was the icing on the cake. So thank you so much, Redding173. Your comment was seen and very appreciated. And I am probably going to be adding those horseshoe pits in a lot of other medieval style builds, which with the castle kit, I'm definitely going to make more of. But here we are also making a little garden just back there. Now, of course, we're focusing on the horseshoe pit, but we are making a little garden here, which this corner just felt perfect for it. And I think that if I wasn't already super overwhelmed with the amount of landscaping that I did elsewhere on the lot, I would have made the garden a lot bigger. But yeah, I really love like this little fountain from, I think it's Jungle Adventure that I used, and that sundial, which I don't remember what it's from, but yeah, the rest I used a lot of romantic garden stuff, of course. That one's obviously going to be used here. And yeah, the rest is just a lot of landscaping, and I don't know, this area turned out really, really cute, and yeah, I think it came together fairly easy. At least that's what it looks like in the video. And this little patch that you see here, the kind of, I guess it's more of a path, leading to that door leads to the inside of this fortress, so the wall that goes around. There's a door like that in all four corners, so yeah, you'll be able to access the fortress, and there's not much inside of it, at least on like this level, but there are stairs that go down to the dungeon, which, so unfortunately, the basement that I put under the house itself can't connect to the basement that I put under the fortress. So they are two separate things, but you still have access to both of them. They're just in different areas. I don't think that should be like too bothersome if you choose to play with this. But yeah, under the fortress is where like the jail cells are, and then obviously under the house is where like the more useful spaces would be. But yeah, out here, I wasn't super sure what I wanted to make of it. It was a very like grand space, but that's mostly because like the walls were so huge, so it was kind of hard to find furniture that made it feel as full as it needed to be. So in the video, you'll see me just make this little dining area and kind of put some benches in the back, just like along the wall. But later when I was taking the screenshots, it still felt like really empty. So I end up kind of extending the like balcony-ish a little bit forward, or like the porch. And I end up adding like a pergola, like a custom made one. You'll see it in the screenshots. Oh gosh, and this is just more of like the lovely glitches that were going on. My game even crashed at one point. Just the game on its own, or if it was because of the house. I've been hearing that a lot of people's games have just been crashing randomly, so maybe it's a universal thing, let me know. But yeah, it was a little hard to build at some of the points, at a few points. But yeah, as I was saying, I added like a little custom pergola, which I just love how it turned out. And this back wall, I was actually so stumped on what to add back here, but these trees and like the little like square lily of the valley things just were really nice. So I actually ended up adding another one over here. I did have to flatten the terrain, which was so fun to do, and definitely not annoying, but it turned out really nice. And I actually end up moving those benches that are in the corners, like not under the stairs, but on the side of the stairs. I end up replacing the benches with another little patch of these flowers / grass, and then I put benches in front of these trees so that you can look at the other wall of trees. I just felt like it made it feel a little bit more serene and manicured. And anyways, we have moved on to the basement finally. Like half the video is landscaping, but yeah, in the basement you have the servants' quarters, which are very basic, very simple. There's like 2 rooms, 3 beds each, and they're pretty much just mirrors of each other. And in this area, I've decided to add a laundry room, and I was really disappointed that you couldn't put the clothing hangers or the like clothing lines down, like, or sorry, you couldn't put the clothing lines inside. So I kind of just put those towel racks up and pretended that that's where the clothes are drying. But I don't know, the laundry area is still cool. You just can't really dry your clothes. I mean, this castle, in all honesty, is not functional like at all. So why would the one thing that's functional here be the laundry? But anyways, I still think that it looks good. Especially these shelves that I put here with these base game towels. I use this shelf to kind of stack them up and make it look very full and, I don't know, like in use. Very organized though. And yeah, I don't know, I think that room just turned out looking nice and very like telling of the time. But yeah, that's where I was trying to add the clothing line, and I didn't really know what to put in that hallway. But we are finally in my favorite room of the house, which is the alchemy lab, which you can access through those like hidden hidden door bookshelves that they kind of line those two sides, and they look so, so cool. I absolutely just like adore this room. I filled it with so much clutter and it turns out looking so nice. And I don't really know like if it's actually functional at all in The Sims, but it just looks so good, and it might be giving like the staircases a run for their money as my favorite space in this house, which is a really high compliment because you know how much I love those stairs. But I guess you can also tell that they're my two favorite spaces because I literally made them the thumbnail for each of the videos. But yeah, this room just came together really easily too. I had a very clear vision for it, and Realm of Magic and paranormal stuff just had the best items, and yeah, they were just so easy to place. Obviously the clutter isn't easy to place, but I mean like they were easy to place in my mind as like this is meant to go in the alchemy lab. And I don't know, the items just worked together really nice, even if they had like contrasting styles or very different styles or whatever. I still think they turned out really cool, and I love the like, what's it called? Like the pestle. Yeah, mortar and pestle, I think they're called. I think that one came with For Rent, and that one's also like perfect in here. And I love the little fireplace too that I added. I don't remember which pack that's from, but it was perfect. And it has like that little pot also at the top, and you can just see them making their potions and their concoctions and stuff in here, their elixirs. I think it's just so good. It's so, so good. I'm so proud of this room. And let me know if you guys agree. I'd love to know what you guys think. It was so fun to read your comments, so please let me know more. It makes me really happy. And yeah, I've also really loved these rugs that I added, like the little kind of collage of them. I think they turned out really nice as well. They have like, they're kind of like distressed and stuff. They get walked on a lot, which is really good. I feel like maybe they're rugs that nobody really wanted, or like that they were out of style, and they just got put down here because, I don't know, they just needed some rugs for the space. But yeah, in this little kind of hallway, I didn't know what to do, so I think I also just do that in post-production. But in the kitchen, we are starting now on the kitchen. This very big space, you can see, I think you caught a glimpse of these staircases that go up into this little like octagon room, which is kind of like part of a turret, and that has access to a little hallway that leads to the dining room, and that's kind of how you connect the two rooms. But yeah, this kitchen is not actually functional, much like everything else in this house, but it is beautiful, and that is what matters. But yeah, it is very, very cluttered. I like placed a lot of things, like in like kind of loosely at this point, and then I later like went in post-production and like properly placed them because there were so many little things, and I wanted to make sure that I didn't do it in a rush. I wanted it to look good and like balanced, but still a little bit more natural. But yeah, I really do like how it turned out in the end. I don't know how much of that like detail you can see in the screenshots. So again, I recommend that you download it from the gallery so that you can see it all. And I love this fireplace that I think is from Cottage Living, that I kind of placed it as sort of the cooking vessel in the kitchen, as it would be. As if it would be the cooking vessel in the kitchen. I think it matches, like even the woods match really nicely, and the stone also. I was very proud of that find. And here on like that shelf, I wanted to place like more ingredients and things, but I don't know, I was getting very overwhelmed with the amount of clutter that I was putting in the room and just not knowing where to place it and how to place it. So I kind of just left that empty for now, and later on I add more clutter. But yeah, over here in this corner, I also put in like barrels, and I add kind of like a cellar, or like the wine bottle holder I don't remember what it's called, but you can see me placing it here. I just place it off to the side. Yeah, there we go. But yeah, I don't know if that's where it would normally be kept, like whenever this castle would take place or whatever. But I don't know. I was trying to fill in the space and I thought it looked good. But yeah, I mix in a lot of like fancy stuff and also some more like grody, just servant things. But I don't know. It all blends in very nice. It blends together very well. And I also put in a couple of stools because I think that the people that work here probably work really hard and deserve a break. But we are finally working on the jail cells, and I thought it would be really cool to add these doggy doors from Cats and Dogs as kind of like that's where they slide their food through. I thought it was so cool, and I love that the colors like even matched and worked out really cool. So, or they just matched really nice. And yeah, in here I just put in those rugs that look like hay from the horse ranch pack, and I just put in a couple of buckets and those candles, which I think are from Dine Out. And I also put in these rain chains from Seasons so that they kind of look like, I don't know, if they have some really, really bad prisoners, they like maybe tie them up, like that would be horrible and like really sad. But I just thought it was kind of a cool detail to add because I feel like that's a thing that they had at that time. But yeah, I kept it really simple. Obviously, I just put in a couple of chairs so that the guards can sit down because they deserve a break as well. And yeah, just not really much to do in these spaces. The entire like fortress, like basement is very, or even like every part of the fortress is very blank and empty. I just didn't see the use of adding any more clutter down there or anything like that. You'll see in the screenshots just what most of the rooms and spaces look like. They're very empty and useless. But outside again here in the exterior, I'm just adding some ivy along all of the walls just to give it a little bit more dimension and character. I think they all turned out looking really nice, and I really like these kinds of like plaques that I added at the front. Or I guess they wouldn't be plaques, they're more just like the crest, the stone crest. And I do end up putting more ivy behind those as well, just to kind of blend it into the space too. But yeah, the castle just, oh, look at that. It turned out so amazing. Here's just the screenshots. There you can see the ivy that I just talked about, that I added, and even a little glimpse of the pergola. Yeah, and here is just like that entryway, that little space. All it has is a little fountain, and just the top as well of the turrets at the front gate. But gosh, the screenshots of the exterior just make me so happy. All of the extra landscaping that I added off camera. There you can see a little peek of the pergola and the stairs. Yeah, this little wall. I'm so proud of myself. There you can see the little horseshoe pit. All the extra ivy as well. I think that in the future I'd like to make a castle that also has like stables and like a greenhouse. I think just with the terrain and everything that I like, how much I mess with the terrain in this one made it a little bit hard to add any more structures, but that's definitely a goal for the future. And here is the pergola that I was talking about. I made it using some Latisses from, I think it's Romantic Garden Stuff, and I just raised it up using Control 9 just to make the border. And then I filled it in with just like these low-lying flowers from Base Game, and yeah, I think it just ended up looking so nice and filling in the space perfectly. It was exactly what it needed. But anyways, here we are on the very top floor, so kind of like the roof of the castle. And I just furnished this space as if it was kind of storage, as if there was maybe some secrets being stored up here, but no one really goes here, maybe unless there's something like they need to run away from, because both of the turrets that come out from the bedrooms go up there. But anyways, we are also going into the dungeon. I had included just like a picture of the door that would lead to the stairs that lead to this space. And you can see them here. They're very simple. There's really not appealing places to be in. This is kind of what most of the hallways down there look like, and yeah, this is what a lot of the rooms that I placed down there also look like, just some crates. And this is the hallway that leads to the servants' quarters. Those ladders go up to a little bit, like a little room that comes off of a turret that you can access from the porch. And this is the only bathroom that you have in the entire castle. Since bathrooms, or I guess toilets, weren't very common, I only placed one in the dungeon, just that it's a little bit more out of sight. And yeah, I think it still looks a little bit fitting to the space, hopefully, to the style. But yeah, this is the hallway that it's like how I ended up furnishing it. I just put a couple of seats in, a very distressed rug, and a couple of those knights. And yeah, here's the laundry room. I really like how it turned out. I think it's, uninteresting but functional looking. Definitely not actually functional. But this is the other hallway. I furnished it to kind of be almost like a fake library so that you don't really suspect that behind those bookshelves is the alchemy lab, the very best room of the entire castle. I was going to say house, but I think we should refer to this as its proper name. And yeah, it looks really nice. I added that mirror, which I think really makes it feel that much more supernatural. And yeah, here's the kitchen. You can see all of the clutter that I placed. It's very, very cluttered. I don't know if all of it is like actually that fitting for the time, but I think it still looks nice. I also added another stool in front of the fireplace, and I had put a little sink in the corner so they can actually wash the dishes, which is actually the only functional element of the entire kitchen. But anyways, I've decided to include a couple of screenshots of the floors, of the floor plan, and there you can see a couple of changes that I made from part 1. I really had so much fun building this, and also building this with you guys. Getting to split it into 2 parts and hearing your feedback was it was really, really fun to do. And I hope that we get to do that again in the future. So keep giving me your feedback, your advice, and thank you so much for your support. Bye buds, and thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss any future videos. Comment and share with your friends. Talk to you soon. Bye!